Okay, guys, so when you start talking about using your trig chart or using the unit circle, we're going to be using this chart right here. Now, this information down here below will make a little more sense once we get to trig identities, so we're not going to use it right now. So I'm going to show you how to build your trig chart. Okay, so we're always given the degrees. Now in calculus, we never ever use degrees. It's always in radians. Okay, so 0 degrees is 0 radians. 30 degrees is pi over 6 radians. 45 degrees is pi over 4 radians. 60 degrees is pi over 3 radians. And 90 degrees is pi over 2 radians. So you just pretty much got to memorize those. Okay, the way you build your sine column is you start with square root of 0 over 2, square root of 1 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, and then square root of 4 over 2. So square root of 0 over 2 is 0. Square root of 1 over 2, square root of 1 is 1, so it's 1/2. Okay, square root of 2 over 2 doesn't simplify. Square root of 3 over 2 doesn't simplify. Square root of 4 over 2. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? Now, what we're going to do for the cosine column is we're going to reverse the order. So it goes 1, square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, 1/2, and 0. Okay, so tangent is defined as sine over cosine. So we're going to divide the columns. 0 divided by 1 is 0. And I'm going to get a little separate sheet of paper just to show you how to do this next one, okay? It's going to be square root of 3 over 3. Let me show you how you get it. Okay, so we're going to do the sine divided by cosine. So 1/2. When I divide by a fraction, I multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm multiplying by the reciprocal of square root of 3 over 2, which is 2 square roots of 3. 2's will cancel. So you get 1 over square root of 3. Now, we're going to rationalize the denominator. Okay, so when we rationalize the denominator, you get square root of 3 over 3. Okay, and that's where that comes from. Okay, for pi over 4, tangent of pi over 4 is going to be 1. Square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2 is 1. Square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is going to be square root of 3. And let me show you where that comes from real quick. So like we did in the last little portion, so square root of 3 over 2, and I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of that is 2 over 1, and those cancel. Okay, and then 1 divided by 0 is undefined. Okay, so we're going to write undefined like that, UND, and that works for me. Now, the cotangent column, we're going to reverse the order. Okay, so undefined, square root of 3, 1, square root of 3 over 3, and 0. Okay, secant column. So the secant column is going to be the reciprocal of cosine. So what we're going to do is we're going to reciprocate all of those right there. Okay, so the reciprocal of 1 is 1. The reciprocal of this is 2 square roots of 3 over 3. And I'll take a second and show you how to do that. So if I reciprocate square root of 3 over 2, okay, so the reciprocal of that is I flip it. So it's 2 over square root of 3. We don't write square roots on the bottom, so we're going to rationalize it. So it's 2 square roots of 3 over 3. Okay, and that's where we get that. Same thing here. We're going to rationalize this, and you get square root of 2. You get 2. And then if I reciprocate that, that goes on the bottom, you get undefined. Okay? And the cosecant column is you're going to reverse the order. Okay, now just a couple pointers real quick as we're going through these. So, this is pronounced sine, not sin. This is cosine, not cos, cosine. Tangent, okay? And then we have cotangent, secant, and then cosecant. Now, I expect you to use it properly when you say it. We don't say sin and cos, and that's just something that will drive me nuts. Also, you're going to need to know that sine and cosecant are reciprocals of each other. Cosine and secant are reciprocals of each other, and tangent and cotangent are reciprocals of each other. So if you ever need help building your trig chart, I suggest you refer back to this video because you're going to have to memorize it for calculus and for pretty much everything else. Now, in some schools and programs, they make you memorize something called the unit circle. I think that it's a lot easier just to memorize this trig chart and follow the patterns. So really and truly, all you have to memorize is the pattern for sine, square root of 0 over 2, square root of 1 over 2, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2, and square root of 4 over 2. And pretty much memorize sine, tangent, and secant, and you're good to go because the other columns, you're just reversing the order. Okay? So that's been building your trig chart. If you have any questions over this, feel free to reach out. Have a good afternoon.